Welcome back to the 1031 Real Estate YouTube channel. I'm Brad Pickens. In this video, we're going to be covering at a high level the three different types of 1031 exchanges that people use. If you want to learn more or dive deeper into any of the different types, feel free to reach out to us or schedule time on our calendar. I'd be happy to elaborate on any of them. So to start off with, the three different types of 1031 exchanges are what's called the delayed 1031 exchange, the reverse 1031, and the combination 1031. So our clients typically use the delayed 1031 exchange. That's what our first video about 1031 exchanges is based off of. So you have your 45-day identification window, your 180-day close window. It is the simplest way of doing a 1031 exchange in terms of logistics, and it's the cheapest way. So there are some ways that we can extend those windows because they do tend to cause a little bit of stress for our clients. Depending on the market you go into, a lot of times we can start writing offers while you're in escrow on the property you're relinquishing. So usually our clients have about 60 days or so for that identification window. Usually we can start writing offers about halfway through escrow on your relinquished property. Now, the logistics of delayed 1031 exchange, or how the money flows in it. Like we talked about in that initial video, you have to keep your money third party, right? You can't take receipt of it. So what happens is the 1031 intermediary sets up a trust account for you where you're the trustee. The money from your relinquished property gets wired from escrow to that trust account, and then you as the trustee dictate where that money goes. So obviously, you know, the escrow's on your upleg side or your acquisition side, or you know, if you're taking what they call boot, which is cash out of the 1031 exchange to your own bank account. So that's the delayed 1031 exchange kind of in a nutshell. So the second type of 1031 exchange is what's called the reverse 1031 exchange. This is much more expensive and is a little more complex. You have to set up holding companies and stuff for the acquisition side. Usually we see around $5,000 to $10,000 in terms of cost versus, you know, $1,200 up to $2,000 in terms of cost on the delayed exchange. This is mainly used by like the big guys in the commercial space. And the reason they do that is, you know, in a market where inventory is not readily available, you don't want to be stuck with a 45-day identification window if you don't know when you're going to be able to find that next property. So they'll go out and acquire the new property first, then they can sell. You don't have to worry about those time frames and potentially having huge capital gains liability. So with the reverse 1031 exchange, the other limiting factor that kind of keeps a lot of our clients from doing that for the most part, outside of the cost of doing the reverse exchange, is you have to have the financial power, financial buying power to acquire those new properties before selling. So you have to either be able to get the financing or have the cash available to go and purchase those new properties before selling and freeing up those funds on your relinquished side. So the last type of 1031 exchange is pretty much as it sounds. It's a combination exchange, and that's where you have a little bit of both. So maybe you have an apartment complex here in Silicon Valley, or, you know, a more expensive single family home or something, and you know, found a property on your acquisition side that you'd like to buy, but you haven't listed your property yet. You can go acquire that new property, sell your current property, and then the rest of the funds you just do like a delayed exchange where you go out and source the rest of those, you know, properties to finish off the exchange. And then of course there's, you know, more complicated situations, or more situations than just the three like basic ways, right? We get a lot of times we get questions, can we sell two properties and acquire one big property through a 1031 exchange? And the answer is yes. We'd be happy to help you figure out how to structure that and plan. You know, sometimes people have a condo and a townhome and a single family, and they want to sell that and buy a bigger apartment complex. You can do that as well. It all just depends on how you structure everything and plan to make sure you keep your money safe and tax deferred. We'd be happy to, you know, talk to you about that. So I think this was a really short video. I probably could have figured out more content to put into it, But hopefully this elaborates a little bit on the different types of 1031 exchanges. Like I said at the beginning, if you have questions or want to talk further, feel free to reach out to us. We'll put our contact information and a link to my calendar in the description. Also, feel free to like this video and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can also comment. Subscribing and liking definitely help motivate us to make future videos.